one of the key things that drives our actions in life, one of the key things that makes us even miserable at times, is a fundamental human emotion or desire. And what emotion I'm talking about is the question. So clearly we all want to gain. We consider gain as progress. That if I'm gaining something, I'm making progress. Even if we are doing a simple japa, we want to know what is the benefit. If I'm chanting a stotra, I want to know what is the benefit. If I am working somewhere, I want to know what is the benefit, what is going to be the compensation. The drive for so-called remuneration or even some form of reciprocal arrangement is what makes us feel worthwhile, that I am working towards something that actually is helping me grow. And to grow is nature's dharma. It's nature's inherent nature. It must grow. All seeds want to grow. All creatures grow. Every human being wants to grow. But there is more to it. And I'm thinking I will talk about that today. And I'll begin with a little story I read. Someone shared it with me. There was a king, and it's found in a Buddhist scripture, the Nikaya scriptures. So he went to Buddha once. And when he went to Buddha, he said, I have a question for you. All these monks, he said, and nuns are sitting here. Really, what have they gained by being in a monastic life? What is really the benefit of renunciation or sannyasa? Buddha said, there must be some benefit, and that's why they are here. Yes, I know, the king said. I've spoken about it. I've posed this question to many other spiritual leaders in the past, and people have given me different answers. Some said, oh, it helps you gain liberation. Some said there is no returning back to the world. Some said it's a life free of worries. Some said, well, this is the way to go, because that's how you, once you cut all your ties with the world, that freedom you experience, you carry that freedom into your next life. And yet, I remain somewhat unconvinced that these are promises of benefits. These are promises of rewards I may or may not get in the future lifetime. But what is really the benefit? I mean, these people could be there in the world doing all kind of amazing stuff or living a good life of comfort and so on. And yet here they are doing what they're doing. What is the benefit? Buddha said, you are a king. You must have servants in your palace. And as was the convention at that time, there were servants and then there were slaves. You must also have slaves, he said. So let's say you have a servant or a slave who gets up before you in the morning, who rises early before you're awake, works hard the whole day, eats little food, whatever he can earn or accumulate, and then you go to bed in comfort, and then he goes to bed after you. He goes to sleep after you have gone to sleep. He wakes up before you get up. Is that fair enough, an assumption? The king said, yes, of course, that's how it is. Imagine, Buddha said, if this person one day sat back a little and thought, if there was any way where he could work and also have the comforts that you are enjoying, if not even more? Is that temptation? Is that desire enough to propel that person to gain, to make a certain move? The king said, yes, of course. But how does that help a monk? He said, now imagine if the same servant or slave shaved his head and put on his ochre robe and cut his ties with the world and joins a monastery and perfects his self, which means he becomes self-aware, alert, and content. These were the three conditions Buddha laid. That if you are self-aware, what I'm thinking, what I am doing, what I am speaking, and what my intention is. And if I'm alert, that is, where is a thought coming into my head? Head from where? Where is an emotion arising in my consciousness? If I'm alert that, oh, there is a temptation knocking on my door, do I give in, or do I keep the door closed, or do I face it? So if I'm self-aware, if I'm alert, and if I'm content, then I've achieved liberation. So imagine a monk who renounces everything, comes to the monastery, perfects himself, which is another term for self-realization. When you're in perfect control of yourself, you are realized. There is nothing more to realize after that. Only maybe theoretically, but practically not much is left. So that monk does that. And then imagine, he says, Buddha, after a few years, once he's perfected himself or herself, he visits you. Now, he used to be your servant once. Now he visits you. Will you extend him an invitation? Will you welcome him? The king said, of course. I will get up from my seat. I will welcome this monk. I will wash his feet. I will offer him fine food. And I will offer him stay. And I'll make offerings to him. Don't you think then, Buddha said, that's quite some benefit? This person who was your servant once, who was a slave, is now at a position where you are welcoming him, the king. And the greatest gains in life come from our ability to lose. And the greatest learning you can have in life is it's okay to lose. If must you put yourself in a situation of win or lose, if must you weigh yourself in a thing of am I right or wrong, then it is okay to be wrong sometimes. It's okay to lose. Breathe. It's not the end of the world. When we move in the direction that I must always win, I am bound to make many wrong decisions in my life. When I move in the direction of, hey, it's okay to lose, it's impossible for even the best team or the best player to always win. Some games you will lose. And the root cause of human misery is our aversion to loss. I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose my youth. I don't want to lose my wealth. I don't want to lose my health. I don't want to lose my possessions. I don't want to lose my respect. I don't want to lose my people. I don't want to lose my relationships, my home, my position, my status, my everything. But it is such a dumb thing to do. It is such juvenile thinking because this is impossible. It is impossible for us to forever have that we have today. Tomorrow will bring something new, but when it brings something new, it's going to take away some of what we have. And there was this Mullah Nasruddin, obviously, and his wife, and they used to run a shop together, where she would sew clothes and tailor suits and so on, and Mullah was a salesman. Now, anytime somebody would come into their shop and start to show some interest in any particular kind of dress or a suit, Mullah would start to increasingly pretend he is hard of hearing. So if once you've zeroed in on a certain dress, Mullah would talk to you as if he can't hear you what you're saying. And you will say, how much is it? Sorry? How much is it? And he'll say, Mullah say, he'll ask his wife, how much is this thing? And she said, this is 700 rupees. Mullah said, how much? 700 rupees. She would go. And Mullah will say to the person, 400 rupees. Because he's hard of hearing. And the person instantly would make the purchase. That I'm getting something that was worth 700, I'm getting it for just 400. I mean, companies worldwide fool people 12 months a year in the name of a sale. A clearance sale, Diwali sale, New Year sale, you are dumb sale, I'm intelligent sale, all kinds of sales. People know prices have been inflated and sale prices, the prices have been jacked up beforehand and now they're just a bit down, but we cannot ignore that fact of 50% off, I better get it. That desire that somehow, if somebody else is losing, if Mullah's wife has said 700 and he is saying 400, if somebody is losing 300, clearly it is my gain. That curiosity is what drives people, and that aversion to loss, that I should not lose. If I don't gain, it is okay, but I should not lose.